What's the closest you've ever been to a real-life hentai scenario? In France, on skiing holiday, we were hanging out in a receptionist apartment. We made friends with the girls working behind the counter, and we were smoking grass. Me and one of the girls hadn't done anything yet, but I could feel the tension between us. She was lying on her bed on her side with her back and butt turned towards me, and I was sitting next to her on the bed while my friends were just chilling and we were just talking and listening to music. I was very slightly touching her with my hand, but I was way too awkward by the grass to really make a move. At one point one of my friends said, "We're gonna go to our room, but I feel like someone wants to stay." And I looked at her and said, "Okay, I already know that he's gonna F this up somehow. Ooh, can I stay for a bit?" She turned at me, looked me deep into my eyes and said, "Yeah, sure, we can talk." The whole time of my friends walking out of the door, which was probably taking about a minute or so, we just kept on looking at each other, knowing what was going to happen, and as soon as the door closed, we instantly started making out. Crazy hentai right afterwards. Hottest situation I've been until now, no doubt. Global warming. A girl from my class invited me over to her place to fix her laptop. Nothing's broken, just reinstalled some apps and some. She's been looking at me like meal the whole time. Eventually, I walked out of that house proud of myself and still a godless virgin. Good thing I'm stupid. Nice. You walked out of the house proud of yourself and still having all your limbs. Good thing you didn't become a meal. That's what I'm talking about, bro. My ex had a friend that rented a new place. She was lonely and upset since her boyfriend left her. We were in the living room watching TV. She goes on saying that we should stay and keep company. My ex said we are all gonna cuddle on the same bed. My dumb butt said I have to go home to my dog. I think I went home and even my dog was upset with me. Your dog was probably not upset, just disappointed. Woof, come on dude, you have the chance bro, what? Woof. You misspelled, and then I came to my sense and banged them both, it was awesome. A girl once looked at me on the bus. Oh my god. And you didn't do anything? How dare you? Ah, do 3K. She wanted you to stop looking at her. She was looking at my friend Jean behind you. And I jizzed in my pants. Noise. The girlfriend of a buddy asked me to come to her apartment to fix the internet. At several points I thought she wanted to make a move. If she did, I didn't notice and I wouldn't have done anything. I fixed it and went home. Another time a girl, on again, off again, girlfriend of a buddy, asked me to come over and teach her some things on guitar. She definitely wanted to screw around, but her wiener blocking sister was there and was really kind of annoying. She was constantly angry about something. Gosh, I hate those people. Always complaining about something. Another time a girl asked me to come over for her birthday party in her small dorm room. I didn't because she said she invited a bunch of people and I didn't know her that well and wasn't in the mood at all for being in a small dorm room with lots of people. Apparently she asked only a few people who came during the day and were gone in the evening when she was expecting me to come. Big F for that last one, soldier. Exactly what I thought. Meh, I don't feel bad about it. She really didn't communicate it well. The funny thing is that her intentions were more clear at some point, but nothing ever happened, because we never had the place and time right. You seem like a good friend. Noise. Walked in on my girlfriend's parents going at it on the living room couch. They were very liberal, means they saw a center and didn't stop. My girlfriend was mortified. Me, not so much. Her mom was hot. A girl I knew asked me if I could come over to help her move some boxes left by the previous tenant of the apartment. I arrive and knock on the door. It was open and she was clearly home. She had described previous tenant as a scary guy who was causing some problems, so I was slightly concerned. So I go ahead and walk in, and right as I was about to call out her name, she walks into the room naked. But then she screamed, covered herself and ran into the other room. Turns out it wasn't an intentional nude welcome. She had just gotten out of the shower and hadn't heard me knock. We're still good friends though. The two turned at about 100 miles per hour. Nice. They had us in the first half, not gonna lie. My entire life is like a hentai movie. Abrupt transitions, weak plotline, poorly improvised dialogues, unflattering lightning. I got left behind by my friend and had to get a ride with a stranger. Two beautiful blonde girls said they'd take me back to the city. We were in a trail in Banff and we were talking on the way back. When we were close to the city they asked me, "So, do you have plans for tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah, I already have." They seemed bummed and I didn't really think that through and got to the hotel. I hate myself for that even today. Well, it doesn't have to mean anything, bro. Maybe they just wanted to hang out. doesn't mean hentai immediately, dude. Okay, if a girl asks you, do you plan anything tonight, doesn't immediately mean she wants to do hentai. I used to be so monumentally bad at picking up on signals, or even remotely considering the possibility that a girl wanted to have hugging with me. After my finals, my class organized a party at this beautiful outdoor location surrounded by fields, trees, and close to this fairly secluded swimming pool. I was pretty drunk already. Lying in the field next to the path to town, when the hottest by a mile girl from my class walked by, I cheerfully called, "Hey," name redacted. She stops, looks at me and asks, "What are you doing there?" I shrug and say, "Just enjoying the sun. You?" She responds, "I'm feeling pretty tipsy already. Think I'm going to go home," and starts walking up the hill. After 2 steps or so, she stops, turns out to me and asks, "Wanna come?" I just shook my head and drunkenly exclaimed, "Nah, see you around," and she walked off. One of my mates from school still gets irrationally angry when I tell this story, but I swear to God, I just didn't think she was interested in me at all. We, the girl and I, hooked up at our class reunion 10 years later. It was amazing. Good things come to those who wait. Noise. Look at this way. Maybe you saved yourself from having your organs harvested. I'd go with that story. She wanted you all those years and it took you 10 years. Good things come to those who wait. Imagine what you could have had with her in that period of time. I think it was a bit more complicated than that. We chatted briefly during dinner at the reunion and I asked whether she remembered the party after our finals. She claimed to have been very drunk and couldn't recall what had gone down, so I just played along and told her it wasn't that spectacular. Later on, we had all had a few drinks. I was smoking a cigarette outside and she walked up to me, wordlessly took the cigarette out of my hand, took a drag and said, "So what happened at the party?" Giving me proper doe eyes. I started telling her about trivial BS and she kept on nodding very exaggeratedly and going, then interrupted me. "So what about when you turned me down?" I laughed, gave me the cigarette and walked back inside. On her way, she looked at me over her shoulder and luckily I had learned how to interpret signals by then. It was that kinda look. I think inadvertently, turning her down is what actually intrigued her about me. My last follow-up for today. After the deed was done, we were cuddling, as important. She nuzzled up to me and said, "I always thought you were kinda grimy at school. We used to sit next to each other in math class, so it could have made sense, only I was pretty attentive to personal hygiene." So I asked her what she meant. She obviously felt uncomfortable talking about it, but finally admitted, "You used to smell kind of sweaty." I got up. She thought I was bouncing, which was kind of adorable. Got a tiny bag of grass out of my trouser pocket and held it towards her. "Is this what you mean?" She gave it a sniff. Her eyes went super wide and she burst onto laughing. That explains so much. Adorable woman. And an absolute firecracker to boot. A moron of mine. Super hot drop dead awesome woman. I would really like to know you more before breakfast. I'm cooking. Moron. I can be there by 8. Noise. I said before breakfast. Okay, I'll be there at 6. Gosh, you're a little pushy. I've told this story before, but it's relevant here again. I was very broke college student 10 years ago, but there was a super cheap bar right next to my apartment with a gorgeous redhead waitress. Some buddies and I went to get food. She was our waitress and after she took our order, I leaned in and said, "See, that's the girl I was talking about. She's so effing hot." My buddies just sat there laughing and gestured behind me after 30 seconds of silence. They were pointing at the cash register stand. She was ringing someone up and just paused and listened. I was embarrassed, but F it. She knows I think she's hot. I'm sure she got that all the time. Fast forward to the next weekend. I'm at a different bar. Drunk from a pre-game, so I'm just hanging out, trying not to fall asleep. Still broke. I'm walking back to my table of friends from the bathroom. And lo and behold, the same waitress intercepts me. Her. "Hey, you come into my bar a lot. I'm blank." Me. "Oh yeah, I do. I'm blank." Why is she talking to me? "I overheard what you said last time you were there. Want to get a drink?" Me. Not at all recollecting what I had said the previous weekend. "Huh? No, I don't have any money." Why would she ask me that? Then I walked back to my table, sat down, thought about what just happened. I thought about the previous weekend, remembered what I said. I thought about the confused look on her face after I walked away from her. It was at this moment that Nathan knew. He effed up. That's when I realized I just rudely shut down my crush, and I was an idiot. When the hot teacher said, "Okay, let's go get you some books." Then the two of us proceeded to go in a classroom filled with books, for empty people. Then I got my books. Exactly the same story here. Your computer looks totally fine. How about a glass of wine? In a tone of voice I now know should have been very clear. No thanks, I don't really like wine. See ya. Who says the girls are more shy than guys? That's not true, bro. That ain't true. That ain't no one true. Take me, Garth. Take you where I'm low on gas and I don't have a jacket. Senior asked to switch classes with me to get a better teacher. She was willing to do anything. When I clarified anything, she just repeated anything. And then I didn't switch. F it, I'm gonna deal with the worst teacher for 1 year for 3 minutes of pleasure. Well, in your case, I'd say 1 minute of pleasure. Psychedelic snowflake. One time, I looked at a cute dorky guy on the bus and smiled. He did not smile back, but just looked at me confused. I was really hoping he'd come sit by me and maybe ask me for a number. Never saw him again. Noise. My friend noticed a girl sort of giving him flirty eyes on a bus. She got at a stop that wasn't his, so he stayed on the bus. Another passenger turns to him and says, "Why didn't you get off bus and talk to her?" My friend is like, "Duh." But he gets off the bus and hoofs it back one stop and meets the girl, who he dates and eventually marries. However, on her bachelorette party, things get hot and heavy with another girl, and she realizes that she's maybe an LGBT. And yep, she is. So after the wedding, things fell apart due to her realizing her true self. My friend was quite bitter about the bachelorette party, but it was probably all for the best. I don't know how unfictional this story is. I had a couple come into the supermarket I was working at and proceeded to try to make a hentai in a frozen pea chest freezer. Frost damage, nice. That was it for this video. Leave your comments and opinions below, and until the next time, stay awesome.